Imagine this, guys. You're a wholesaler. You find a killer deal. The numbers make sense. The seller's motivated, but your offer isn't being taken seriously because you're not bringing EMD to the table. Or worse, you lock up a deal with a massive 50K plus assignment fee on it, only for the end buyer to see your spread on the HUD and back out last minute. And guys, let's not even talk about those seller carryback deals where you still have to bring the down payment initially, but then you're stuck wondering, okay, now where am I going to get this down payment? Well, guys, if you're wholesaling currently, this isn't just frustrating, it is your reality unless you have a transactional funding partner. That's where I come in. So let's break this down and see how I can help you. One, your offers are not being taken seriously. Really, we can fix this with EMD. EMD can take care of this. We'll get into that. And number two, your deals are getting snaked from you behind your back from the end buyer. Double closes will fix this. And we'll get into how that works. We've got a double close. And number three, I like to call this negotiation failure, because when you negotiate a killer deal, but you don't have the funds to actually fund that structure, that is a total failure in negotiation right there. So what we can do to help you with this is, one, show you how to structure some of these deals, but two, if you're familiar with a seller carryback, which we'll get into this a little more, seller carryback Morby method type deal, this fixes that as well. So seller carryback. Let's talk EMD funding first. Now, I'm not going to draw this one out. Really, this is pretty straightforward. EMD is really just legitimizing your contract with the seller. It's essentially binding that contract in a way. Really, it's your good faith deposit saying that, hey, I'm going to actually fulfill my obligations on this. That's really what this is there for. So when you have a more substantial EMD, they go, okay, they actually have skin in the game. They actually want this. It gives them the warm and fuzzies, guys. Your offer is taken so much more seriously in these situations. Now, when you're submitting offers, especially for on-market or creative type transactions for sellers or agents, they definitely want to see this. They want to see that you have skin in the game. They want the earnest money. Now, I understand maybe you have more of a direct to seller type pipeline where a lot of those deals, like cash deals, you probably, yes, you can go in where you're limited or almost no EMD. But guys, in most cases, the sellers will take your offer way more seriously when there's real money on the line. I can front your EMD so you never miss out on a deal because you're not having the cash on hand. As far as this EMD goes, guys, there's no personal credit checks or long approvals. It's just fast funding for you to lock up your deals. So really the question that you need to ask yourself is, what would you do if EMD was no longer a barrier in your business? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk double closings, guys. So here's a scenario you might know too well. Say you've got a huge assignment, 50K assignment fee, and the numbers work for your buyer, but guess what? That buyer sees that assignment fee on the HUD. They're gonna try and snake that deal from you guys. They're gonna be like, no, I'm not paying that. There's no way. That assignment fee is way too high. That's ridiculous. And granted, I've seen assignment fees way more substantial than that. How do you get around that? Well, guys, you use a double close, because that way you can temporarily take ownership of that home before then selling it to the next buyer. Now, what does a double close really look like? Plain and simple, you have your A to B contract. We'll get into that. So you've got your A to B contract. We'll explain this in a second. Then you have your B to C contract. Now this A to B, that A, that's your seller. B is you, that's you as the wholesaler. So this is between you and the seller of the home. So this is your A to B contract. That's kind of like your original contract that you get under, and then you typically assign it. Well, in this case, you're actually going to close on this transaction, and then you're going to move straight to this B to C transaction where C is the end buyer. And the thing here is you've got your COE, so your close of escrow. And these close of escrows, these are pretty much coincide. I mean, they are really on the same day. You're going to close on this transaction. You're going to own the home for a few hours. Then you're going to have a separate purchase and sale agreement with the end buyer, and you're going to close ideally on that same day with the same title company. So the question for you guys, I mean, this is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And like I said, we offer these funds so you don't have to come out of pocket. I mean, I understand if you're doing volume in your business, you don't have the funds to, you're allocating so much of your funds towards marketing where it really should be. You're not going to have the funds to be doing these double closes all the time. So the question for you guys is, have you ever lost a deal because the buyer saw your assignment fee and they got spooked? If this is you, then put double close in the comments. I'd love to hear about it and see if we can work together and potentially help you out on that. Now, finally, we're going to get into the seller carryback. Let's map this out so you have a visual representation of what this actually looks like. And again, if you're wholesaling or investing creatively, you probably know this as a Morby method. But again, people call it seller carryback, Morby method, stack method. It's all the same thing. But let's go through an example here. We've got, we'll say it's a 100K purchase price. 100K purchase price. And on this, say the seller that you're going, this really works with sellers that have high equity in their home. So this one, say they've got 50%. So they've got 50K equity in this deal. So they've got 50%. We'll put S for seller, E for equity. So they've got 50% equity, but they're willing to seller carryback or seller finance to you 30% of the purchase price. So 30K. We've got 30K here. So that's the seller carry. Now, really in this situation, I mean, you've got 30K, so you've got 70% left of this that you've got to front. Now, what happens in these cases is you're typically going to go with an institutional lender. So that's either your DSCR, so a debt service coverage loan, coverage ratio loan, you got hard money loan. You could even come in with a conventional loan to get that 70% LTV, so loan to value. So you got, say, 70% here. We've got 70% LTV coming in. And this one, we'll say this is your institutional lender. Put a big I for institutional. Again, that could be a debt service coverage, a DSCR loan, hard money, what have you. This is the scenario. So what is happening here is you come in out of the 100K purchase price. You've got your institutional lender that you've got with 70K here. And again, we'll draw this. Institutional lenders are fancy. They've got big establishments. So we will draw this with the pillars. That's your institutional lender. Then you've got really technically the 30K here. That's the 30% remaining is going to be coming back. So this one is a first lien position. And then this one is going to be coming back in second. So this is a second lien position, 30K seller carry. So at the end of the day, the seller is financing your down payment to this lender. There's one caveat, guys. These lenders, that's all fine and dandy. That's great, but they are not going to account that as the down payment. They still need you to bring that initial down payment to the table. That's where we come in. We cover this down payment to satisfy your lender's requirements. Now that's at closing day, and then we get paid back with the funds coming from the seller's equity. But then you have a secondary lien that is then put on this property, really guaranteeing you to pay those funds back to the seller. So this is a way you can get in with no money down, like practically no money in the deal. This is an awesome strategy. If you're not familiar with it, we will break down it even further, but this is the gist of it. So again, the problem really here is that this institutional lender, they're still going to require you to bring that down payment to the table. So again, that's where we come in. I fund that down payment so that you can get into the deal with no money out of your pocket. Again, this is going to be a really good one if you're actually looking to purchase the real estate. This is a killer strategy for taking down real estate and adding it to your portfolio with really little to no money in the deal. But really, what does this do for you? What this does is this allows you to structure no money down deals while scaling faster than ever before. So really the question for you guys is, what would your business look like if we were to fund these deals for you? So if this is something that interests you or something that you would like to try, just comment carryback in the comments and we'll get back to you on that. So really what it comes down to is, what can I fund? And it goes back to these three items. We can fund earnest money deposits, double closes, and your seller carryback deals for that down payment. We fund all these three. These are what we specialize in. This is what we are really good at. Fast, efficient. This is our niche. So as far as the limits on this, you're gonna have to go to our website and take a look on what the latest is. But I can tell you one thing, you're most definitely not going to be in search for another funding partner, because I will definitely have you covered in that regard. So how does this work? Really, it's super straightforward, super fast, simple. All you've got to do is you go to my website, you submit the deal on there, and there's very few, it's a short form that you have to fill out. Really, it's just some minor information. We're gonna get the most of our information from the contract. So really the important thing is you upload that contract. If it's a double close, you're gonna have 2 contracts to upload. Obviously the A to B and the B to C, we will need both of those. And I'm gonna have it reviewed. We'll have it reviewed. I do have a transaction coordinator. She'll review it within typically 24 hours. We're gonna get back to you on 1, hey, maybe we're missing something that you forgot in the form, or 2, yes, you're approved, we're good to go. Now, if it's earnest money, we send you the contracts on kind of our agreement with one another as us as the lender. And as soon as that's done, we've communicated with title, you get funding right then and there. I've had a lot of instances where people, they get funded the same exact day. Again, it's going to be dependent on you and the title company on really how fast we get the items we need back from you. With that, guys, I'll leave you with one more thing. Really, wholesaling is becoming more and more competitive. And at the end of the day, the investors that win are the ones who can fund their deals fast, protect their profits, and never let cash hold them back from getting a deal across the finish line. So if you want to reach out to me, DM me on my Instagram. That is at Josh Smith, REI. And again, we'll put that website to where you can just submit for funding there right on that website. We'll put that in the comments below. So really, transactional funding, it isn't just about the money, guys. It's about giving you the power to 1, never miss a deal, 2, protect your hard-earned profits, 3, scale without burning through your own cash. So really the question for you guys is, are you ready to take your business to the next level?